Rambo.
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Jocsa and Coleco Rambo version 2 Series 2 figures. Now, there are 6 total figures. Some of these were repainted into the Desert Brigade line that went on in Argentina. But I'm going to talk about each one of these, and these 6 figures are a little bit harder to get, or maybe a lot harder to get than the regular standard Rambo figures, but there's a lot of improvement to them. We're going to look at all this, we're going to see all the features in function, and then a quick preview of Desert Brigade that'll be coming down the road. Coming up. All right, so getting into scale, this is how it scales with a G.I. Joe classified figure. Obviously, this is the Zartan. I had to paint up myself because I couldn't get the Masters of Disguise one. Hasbro doesn't let me have it. So this here is the standard vintage G.I. Joe 3.75 inch. You can kind of see that back in the day, this is what Hasbro was doing. This is what Coleco was doing. This is what Hasbro's doing now. They were ahead of the game. Good job, Coleco. So getting into Old Warhawk here, first thing I do want to point out is kind of the improvements they made on the Series 2 figures. All around, they do have some wrist articulation now, and they have elbow joint. So that was added to it. So a little bit more articulation in these figures than we had in the past. And so just kind of quick comparison, you guys had a formed arm in the past series. So it was just one, no joint, no elbow, and no wrist articulation in the first series, so it was added here. So getting a look at this guy, he does have quite a few paint apps with his sunglasses there. He's got his shades, and he's got this kind of paint going on right here, and it looks kind of cool. There he is from the back. Now he does have a feature where if you push this up, he's got this whip action. That's why he's whip action Warhawk. And so also he does come with a couple of quite a bit of stuff. So he actually can't use it all. He has another whip, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. So he has 2 different types of whips. He's got this dagger. He's got his bird, which is kind of a copy of G.I. Joe. They kind of copy G.I. Joe. But let's take a look at his gun, and it holsters, which is kind of cool. They all, most of these come with some sort of a holster. Not all of them, but most of them do. Yeah, maybe they all do. Here we go. And there's his gun. It's kind of a big gun, too. So pretty cool. And I guess he can quick draw McGraw, too. And they also repainted him for the Desert Brigade or Desert Brigada line here. And so this kind of shows his other whip. And so we can see the whip action with that whip. So he comes with 2 different whips. He can't hold them both. Well, I guess he can hold both whips at the same time. But anyhow, lots of accessories that come with this guy. And the Desert Brigade version, the bird actually has some paint on, some paint apps. This one does not. This is the standard one. And he looks way different. Like the same exact figure repainted. And then all these different paint apps on the back. Just really... This whole line was kind of cool. The crazy paint schemes, the repaints. Yeah, that's what they did. We'll be looking more at that later. Okay, so next up we're going to look at X-Ray. And X-Ray is really cool one. Probably, in my opinion, the coolest out of all of these. He has a few features that do make him really cool. First off, he has this light piping that you can see. Get his eyes to glow. And, you know, light piping really was sort of new back then, back in the day. It was something we see a lot now, or maybe probably less than we used to, but it's still kind of a cool little function feature that we have with this figure. And with that, he also has this mechanical arm, and of course I believe he was made by Dr. Hyde. So I did get this from Dave at Vintage Toy Rush, and you gotta check his channel out. I will leave a link down below. I did watch a lot of his videos, and pretty informative, and he's working on completing these things just like I am, so awesome. I do appreciate it. I tried to buy it off him, and he wouldn't have it. He let me have this. So really awesome, so I could get this video done here, and I want to show what it does. It actually fires. Ooh, don't want to lose that. So, man, the 80s were dangerous, so that's pretty cool. He also comes with a gun. Now my barrel is missing on my gun, and I'm going to show when we get to the Desert Brigade, when I pull him out in a second, you'll see the full one. And then he has this, his axe right here. And of course he can hold it and all that kind of stuff. Don't really want to mess with pulling it out. It's kind of hard to get in and out of this little holster, but also he has this little holster, which is cool. Now mine is missing the hose that's on the back, but you will see that here in just a second when I bring this other guy out. And we're going to do like a quick side-by-side with the Desert Brigade one. Now the Desert Brigade one is repainted, and kind of which one looks cooler, I don't know. I actually think the original one looks cooler than the Desert Brigade version, and so with that anyway, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, the original looked cooler. Look at that long barrel on there. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. But you do notice something else is that the different color variations of their weapons and accessories. So that's pretty cool too. And then there's the hose on the back. But really a cool, mean looking figure around. Probably the coolest one in this line. But they all look pretty cool. Next up, we're going to take a look at Snakebite. He's kind of like an animal creature kind of guy, and he lives in the swamp, whatever. So pretty interesting looking character over here, and we're going to go through all of his accessories and features. And these figures do come with a ton of accessories, which was probably fun back in the day. It's really kind of a pain nowadays to track it all down, but now he's got one of these so he can kind of catch whatever. And it is actually functional. It's pretty cool. It's functional. You actually can hold it with two different handles, or you can hold it with both hands, which the articulation, now you can hold stuff like this with two hands with that added articulation. So that's pretty cool too, and a good use of that. And then getting into, he's got his knife dagger right here. And so I went ahead and got an extra one because I like having these accessories. If I can find them for a good price, I'll definitely pick up an extra one. So it looks a little even cooler. And then we've got this snake here. So like, what all can that snake do? I hate snakes. Now this thing here clips to his backpack also, so I also have another one of these clipped to his backpack, just kind of because it does clip on there. I kind of want to show that. And here we go with what else it does. So you can unclip this, and then you can take all these creatures out, and they're not easy to get out. Now I think you might even come with more creatures than just this, but that's what I've got. A couple of snakes, a scorpion, a big old tarantula, a rat. So there might be more, but this is the kind of stuff he comes with. It is kind of cool, kind of interesting. Snakebite. So next on the agenda we have Dr. Hyde. Dr. Hyde actually is another really cool figure, and with that, let's take a look at him. And you can't see his face. He's hidden behind this plastic dome, and when you press this button, it lights up. So that is really a cool effect. The biggest problem, though, is that most of these people left the batteries in it, and it's corroded, and the electronics don't work. So finding one that works is actually a challenge, a bigger challenge than I thought it would be. So anyhow, getting into this, looking at his backpack. So he's got like a mechanical-looking backpack, and this guy is crazy. You can clip his gun into his backpack, which is kind of a common theme in Series 2, and kind of stuff that's going on right there. So let's go ahead and have him hold his gun. He also comes with a smaller gun, and it's like a little snub-nosed pistol. I'm not really sure what it's called, but there it is. Now, I don't have any of their cards or any of that kind of stuff with these, because of course I chased them down loose, and I don't think I bought any of them complete except Chief, maybe X-Ray. So, but none of them came with cards. So anyway, there we go. And it is interesting though. I've seen people do take the heads off, the helmet off, so you can see the actual head. And so I tried it. It took a long time to do it without breaking the figure. And so I don't recommend it. But if it doesn't light up, then how are you going to see this wonderful face that only a mother could love? All right, getting into Touchdown Jackson, TD Jackson. So here he is, a pretty interesting looking fellow character. Now mine's a little hodgepodge of the Jocsa version and the Coleco version. So I got a couple of different parts and pieces with it. So it's a US figure with a couple of the Jocsa parts. So I'll probably need to track down official US parts also. And the biggest problem for me is the disc. So this is a disc launcher. And it's interesting, when you pull this back, it's supposed to launch, but my disc is all messed up, so it doesn't launch. But I'm not really going to be launching it anyway. But one cool thing is this launcher sort of connects to the backpack. You can see that. It just kind of connects and holds it in place. And then I was thinking you could actually mount the launcher on the backpack too somehow, because it looks like it's set up to do all that. Or that's the spot that you can... Oh, that's the spot where you can put his gun. Well, there's his gun, which is actually pretty cool. It's one of the cooler rifles in the series. Yeah, that's how it goes. You can put the gun right there on the backpack too. That's right. And then he has this gun here also. It's kind of a revolver. Let's get it in his hand and have him hold that. So comes with quite a bit of accessories. He's got the green ammo belts and straps and all that kind of stuff. And he looks like he is still wearing his jersey. And interesting character, a lot of fun, but tracking down his parts is not. All right, so next up we have Chief, which is another cool figure, and it comes with a bunch of accessories, but mainly he comes with this gigantic, let's get it on his shoulder, gigantic rotary missile cannon. I don't know what you'd call it. I'm sure they've got a specific name for it, but this thing is crazy huge, and it's got a cool little feature. So that's interesting. And actually, the one that they make for Jocsa from Argentina, it has a different color scheme. It's got like a bunch of red paint on it and stuff here and there. I think it's red where this is gold or something. Anyhow, that is cool. It's huge, but kind of cumbersome in a way, but still cool. He also comes with a revolver. It is different than Touchdown Jackson. So like none of these accessories are cross use. There's not like he made one accessory and used it on two figures. They're all their own, which is, it's cool in a way, but it makes it harder to track things down. He also comes with this hatchet, and again, it's not the same as the one we got with X-Ray, and so that's a pain in itself. So tracking these down, getting all the parts was tough. I think I got this one, and I got one of the X-Rays. I bought them complete, and then pieced together the rest of this stuff. Hard to find, but fun. I do think that it's kind of interesting where he has kind of like this teal feather thing going on with his hair, and he's got the long braids, so this is kind of rubbery for his hair. So really interesting stuff that they did back in the day with this whole toy line. And I think the color scheme on this, he's just got a ton of color breakup and a whole lot going on. Cool figure overall, if I can get him to stand. I do want to show that when the Desert Brigade line, there's a lot of reuse in that line from what we had with the Tonka Spiral Zone. And as you can see right here, it's the same exact chest piece, that whole chest armor. You see some paint down here, but not painted over here. You've got the emblems painted on here. It's a different color, but it's the same thing. And it looks like they actually they had to cut off those shoulder pads. And in the promo material, the shoulder pads are also removed in promo. I bet you they just manufactured it, used the mold, and then, step number 12 was cut the shoulder pads off. So that's interesting. Also, they reused the backpack. It's the same backpack. So really interesting stuff that they had going on there. They changed the color of the missiles, but hard to track this stuff down. But when you do and you start seeing the similarities, it's kind of interesting. All right, so here is where I am for Desert Brigade. I will be doing a video when I get it all together. Getting kind of close. I got a few more figures. We go into some more details on this line. Since I've acquired a lot more information about this toy line, I know more about how they did it, what figures were released, and all that. I know what to go after, and when I'm done, it'll make for a great, interesting, fun, historical Rambo video. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Series 2 Rambo figures from Coleco and Jocsa. The thing about this is these are hard to get. It was, I wish I could say it was fun collecting them. It was a bit of a pain and a bit of a chore. But at the end of the day, they are way improved from the originals, and they added a whole lot of features to them. And some of the accessories I think are a bit wonky, but most of the accessories are really cool and enhanced. So let me know what you think about this toy line. Have you seen these? This is the first you're ever hearing of the Series 2. Like and subscribe. But damn, hang around.
In a few hours, I will rule space.
So that's your dirty game.
Copy the president's pace.
Well, I got a rocket in my pocket. You're a dead man, Rambo.
Well, General, so much for Rambo.